Hello Tarot Tube. Today we are going to explore the new member of my Spirit Keeper Tarot family. So if you're not aware of it, jump to the chase here. The Spirit Keepers Tarot, which was out of print, the Revelation edition, it was out of print. There is a second printing now, and that's what we're here to look at today. Before we go into that, I will just say, in case you're new to this, Spirit Keepers Tarot, there are 3 editions. You can't get the first 2 anymore. The first one, the original edition, is black and white, and I do not have a copy of that to show you. The second edition I do not have in the full size, but I have this little one. This is the Vitruvian edition, so you can see this is what the backs looked like. Well, still do look like, and it was not colored. And the images changed from one edition to the next, and now we're up to the 3rd edition, which is this one, the Spirit Keepers edition. And this is the book of maps with this edition, the Revelation. It's a chunker. You do not have to order this, but if you have option to get a PDF for this, which you can then get printed at Lulu. Is that it? Yes, I think so. I think I got the right thing. And then there was also this Way of the Warrior life guidance cards, and this was a print at home deck, sort of an oracle deck, I guess you could call it, that I received in PDF form when I bought a metaphysical planner one year. So that was a little bonus, and it's nice. It's a nice thing to have. I'm not sure if it's possible to get that anymore. You'd have to email and ask. All right, so now let's talk about the Spirit Keepers Tarot and this Revelation edition, first printing and second printing. So we're going to take a look at the majors, just the majors side by side, to see how they look different and the same. So that I had separated out and ready to go. So here we have our majors. We'll look at the backs of the cards later. I'm going to open up the boxes and look at them. But I just wanted to show you how the images are the same. The coloring has changed a little bit. Let's zoom in just a bit. There we go. So you can see it a little better. All right, so we're going to get to the Fool card in a minute. If you're not familiar with the deck, I'm going to talk you through that. So we're just going to look at these to see how they're different. You can't get this one. This is the first printing. This is the second printing. And the reason I'm doing this is for anyone who's thinking about getting the second printing and already has the first printing. So here is my little story. The first printing, this is my Ride or Die deck. I talk about it a lot on my channel, but it felt so precious. I didn't want to take it away from my home. I didn't want to read for other people with it. It was just my deck. However, this year I went to the Masters of Tarot workshop at the Omega Institute in New York, which was founded by Mary Greer and the late Rachel Pollack. I'm not sure who exactly was the driving instrument on that, but it was something they did together. And it was very sad to not be able to meet Rachel Pollack. She obviously wasn't there this year, but her partner was, and she was definitely there in spirit. All right, so I've deviated a little bit, but there's a reason. So I took this deck to the Masters of Tarot, and Mary Greer encouraged us to read for other people in the dining hall. She said, just because there were 4 other workshops, or 4 in total, I think. There were hundreds of people there. And she said, just take your decks out when you're in the dining hall and read for people. So I did. And I read for people with this deck for the first time at the Masters of Tarot at the Omega Institute dining hall. And it went so well. People were so excited and happy with this deck. I would do a reading and then they would want to just stop and look at the image and get more out of it. And one woman said, and it surprised me a little bit, she said, it's just so pretty. And I think that most of us who have deck collections and read a lot, we don't really think of this as being pretty. But it is, and it really opened up my eyes to something new. So let's look at this pretty deck together, because now that I have two, this one will become my personal deck, the second printing, and this will be the one that I read for other people with. All right, here we go. Here's the Magus, Divine Powers of Mortal Spirit. The Priestess, the Sanctuary of Isis. The Empress, Gloria Mundi, Oriana's Gate. No, I said that wrong. Orania's Gate, there we go. The Emperor, Commander of Intellections. That's a tough one. The Hierophant, Master of the Arcanes. The Lovers, Mystery of the Covenant. The Chariot of Osiris. The Force, the Tamed Lion. Oops. The Erudite, the Hermit of the Mysteries. The Wheel of Life, the Sphinx, Destiny Turning. The Chancellor, Angel of Justice. The Outlaw, Sacrifice and Redemption. The Reaper, Passage to Initiation. The Angel, a Divine Higher Genius. The Demon, Battling the Typhon. The Tower, Material and Spiritual Colliding. The Healer, Gifts of the Spirit. The Necromancer, Gateway of Resurrection. The Warrior, Masters of the Mystic Light. The Apocalypse, Last Judgment. And finally, the New World Order, Crown of the Magi. So what's different in these decks? Well, the back is different, which is kind of convenient. I can't mix them up so easily this way. The size of the cards is not a big difference, but it is a difference. See how that's, the second printing is just a little smaller. But mostly the difference is about the saturation of color. And I think the crispness of the image is, it's just sharper here. I'm just going to kind of walk backwards while I talk about this. The first printing feels more pastel-y. Like, let's look at this. It's Beetle up here. See, this is a softer blue and a more gentle purple. This one, the blue, it's richer, it's more saturated, and the moon, look how the moon looks sharper, those outlines, like that shadowing, there's more of it and it's darker. But the actual images themselves have not changed, right? It's still the same artwork. It's still definitely very recognizable as her art. And really it's just the way the coloring and the depth of color and the thickness of the lines have changed a little, and that's what makes it look different. But other than that, I feel like it has exactly the same energy. Depending on your sensitivity to color, this second printing may feel more intense. You may even get a clearer hit, I think, because of the intensity of the color. So far, I haven't felt any big differences. in the readings I'm getting. But that could change over time. I don't know. You know, as I use this more with other people and this becomes my personal deck. We'll see if it changes. All right, so let's take this to the side and let's now take a look at the packaging and the little white book and see how that is different. All right, put these side by side. Just want to make sure I don't lose anything out of frame. So the front, I think, looks pretty much the same. The second edition, as I said, it just feels like a more color. There's more. The coloring on this part of it has changed, right? These, this is the first, this is the second. See, that has changed. But the messages are the same that are written on here. And, whoops, let's put this right side up. This is the same, this excerpt from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That's the same. So, with these, the first edition box is tighter, definitely. This second edition just seems to open easier. The inside of the boxes now is still the same. It's just the coloring looks different. Again, this is the first, this is the second. Inside, now this is how I keep my decks. And I said I would talk about the Fool, and now's when we're going to do that. So what I do is I keep my 3 Fool cards separate and use them as significators depending on what kind of reading I'm looking for. So the decks is still, here's your first, here's your second. So now you know how many have been printed. I ordered mine kind of late. I ordered it late spring, I think. So you see where I came in on that one. And okay, so the certificate looks a little different in the second printing. And there's the backs. So what I do, I organize this by, I put my 3 Fool cards in the front, and then the book, and then the rest of the deck. Because the way we work with this, you choose which of these 3 cards is going to be your significator. Put that one down first, and then I pull the other cards for the reading. So depends on your spread where you're going to put it. So I won't get into that here. We are very fortunate that the creator of this deck is quite prolific in what she shares in a free way with our community. So there's a lot that you can read about these decks on her blog. There are a lot of videos. I'm going to put links in the comments below if you're interested in this deck and you don't really know about all these resources that are available to you for free. You should definitely check it out. Yeah, so I'll let you look at these 3. Not completely set up to do that. So this, you would choose this card, the Initiate, if you are in touch with a spirit in search of experience. If you wanted, whoops, flip this one. If you wanted to be the Seeker, spirit in search of science. Or if you wanted to be the Keeper, spirit in petition of spirit. Those are your 3 Fool cards that you get to choose which one you're using when you begin your reading. And here are the 2 books. Now, I spent some time with these 2 little white books trying to figure out what was the difference, because they have a different number of pages. And I was like, well, what exactly is different? And they, you know what, they're kind of just arranged differently. They both have the same information. For example, this one, the first printing, you've got this invocation here. I think of it as an invocation there. And here it's on the back, right? But it's still there. It's just in a different place. In this, the first printing, we have a little bit more information from our creator, Benebell Wen, about the creation of it and what her intention was. In here, this one, we don't have all of that. We have a shorter introduction, and then we get right into the cards. But in terms of what's in the card, you know, the description of reading the cards and being able to use the book like that. That's the same. And at the end, we have the same material, the I Ching trigram correspondences and this little table so you can read I Ching. If you didn't notice, the cards, let's just pull this. This is first printing. The cards have got a lot of symbols on the corners, so you can use these I Ching here. All right, put that down. All right, is there anything else I need to tell you? Check the comments. You can actually, this is available for free whether you buy the deck or not. So if you just wanted a little more about it, you can read this. I find that it's possible to read this deck as a beginner. I have now tested it out with people, and somebody who knows nothing at all about tarot was able to understand and read a card for themselves, which was super cool, very exciting thing for me to experience. If you don't have this deck, what are you waiting for? And if you already have the first printing and you're thinking about the second printing, that's your call, obviously, but I hope that this little introduction showed you the differences, which are not much. Not much. It's just a question, I would say, of how in tune you are with color, the intensity of color, and whether or not you want to have a second copy. Because when it's gone, boop, it's gone. She's done. She keeps saying she's done, and I believe that she is serious about that. All right. If you enjoyed this, if you found it helpful, if you're interested in deck walkthroughs or playing with tarot, intuition, using tarot for resilience, hit that like button and subscribe, and you'll get more stuff on your feed. Take care, be well, and thank you for watching. Bye.